Hey all you Preggy muffins! This is Molly on my channel Preggy People. Now that I'm done with my pregnancy and I'm in a good place, I would just like to take some time to talk to you about some of the things that I went through on this channel. What I'm going to be talking about today is Hyperemesis Gravidarum and just some of the tips and tricks that I use to try to get through it. If you have Hyperemesis Gravidarum and you're watching this, you're thinking, please just help me. You feel like you're dying. You're throwing up 6, 10, 12 times a day. You can't keep anything down. And if you are having these symptoms and you haven't gone to your doctor, go to your doctor because he's going to be helping you. I had a wonderful doctor that did help me. Hopefully you do too. I'm not a doctor or a licensed, advice giver of OB-ness. I am an RN, and if you choose to take any of these tips or tricks, great. I hope they work for you. If not, I wish you well, and I wish you a happy pregnancy because sometimes it can be so hard and nobody gets it. But trust me, girl, I am with you. I have been there. I am with you. I feel for you. I feel bad even talking to this camera right now because I know that there's somebody out there watching this going, I'm going to die. I can't even move. If that's you and you want to hear some tips and tricks from somebody who's been through it, hello, that's me. Then keep watching. There's a couple medical things that they might do for you. One of the best things that I got to do was IV fluids. They'll put an IV in, which is, a little needle into your vein and give you fluids. It did make me feel a lot better. However, for those of us who continually got dehydrated and kept having hyperemesis gravidarum, my doctor let me start a new IV every time, and now my veins are kind of ruined. Ooh, don't look at my fingernails. They're all, ugh. You could get a new IV every time, which is up to your doctor. You can get what we call a PICC line, which usually goes in right at your antecubital area, right here where your elbow bends. It's a little tiny plastic catheter that goes in all the way up your arm. That can be left in, I believe, for, I think it's 90 days actually. IV fluids are your friend. If your doctor wants to give them to you, I suggest you take it. Some things that I did to get through the boredom of sitting there getting my IV fluids, sometimes I cried. Sometimes I would call people. It would give me a chance to, catch up with my sister. A lot of it would be me complaining to her about how sick I felt. I brought my Kindle. I would read. You can play games on your phone. I got into Sudoku. I forgot how you say it. I wrote notes. I wrote a journal. I started like a little composition book for my son McCoy, who was born through that pregnancy, of just things that I was going through and things that I thought about to get through that time where you're sitting alone a lot of times in the doctor's office. Sometimes my husband came with me, but other times you're just sitting there alone and you're like, all you can think about is how sick you feel and you just want to feel better, and then you look at the calendar and realize, oh my God, it's going to be like 4 months, 5 months until I have this baby. What am I going to do? So those are some things you can do while you're getting IV fluids. The next thing I'm going to talk about is some medications they might give you. The first one is Phenergan gel. I think it's a category C pregnancy. I'm not sure. Google that if you're really wondering about it. It's a normally an IV drug that we give. They put it in this little gel capsule. You put it on your wrist. You rub your wrists together. Sometimes it worked for me. Most of the time it didn't. It does make you tired if you want to take a nap, but that's Phenergan gel. Another medicine that they might give you is Zofran or ondansetron, whatever. It's called Zofran. It's a little pill, usually 4 to 8 milligrams, and you just take it orally. I took it every 8 hours for probably like 6 months. It did help with nausea, but sometimes, as you know, there is nothing anybody can do to stop you from throwing up. So, it might benefit you just to take it if your doctor is okay with it. Don't take any pills or medications from your friends who are like, oh, this worked for me, I'm going to give it to you. Go to your doctor and they'll prescribe you something. Another thing that I took that didn't really help was Reglan, or I think it's called metoclopramide. It helps you digest food faster so that once you do eat, the food goes through your stomach really fast so that you're not able to throw it up. One thing I noticed with the Reglan that my pharmacist did tell me, and I did notice it, is that I was also taking I was taking Zoloft at the same time, which is an antidepressant. It's an SSRI for anybody who's taking that. Really watch to make sure that you're not having facial twitching or hand twitching. I'd be walking down the hall at work and all of a sudden I'd be like, and I'm like, oh, that's different. Well, I wonder what's that all about? And then I talked to my doctor, my pharmacist, and they're like, yeah, you can't take Reglan anymore because it causes, sometimes the interaction between the SSRIs and the Reglan causes, some nerve twitching, and sometimes that can be permanent. So if you're starting to have any of those symptoms, stop and call your doctor. Okay, now I'm going to talk about some of the other things you can do that are not medical or anything like that that just helped me get through it. One of the things you can do is I got this little, one of my friends sells like doTERRA oils or essential oils. It's peppermint. It smells really good. That can, if you start to feel like you're getting nauseous, just take a couple whiffs of this. Don't actually put peppermint oil on your skin during pregnancy because I guess there's some kind of contraindication. So, which you can ask your doctor about. But smelling something peppermint sometimes can help, stave off the nausea. Not always, though. I mean, in the beginning when it was really bad, there was nothing that was going to stop me. But I'm just telling you what worked for me sometimes. I know my hair, I don't know what it's doing, and I'm really sorry. So another thing you can do, my sister got me, they look like Lifesavers in individual packets. They're called Preggy Pops. They're really sour, and I did find that if I sucked on them constantly, the sour taste in my mouth did help with the nausea. It made it seem not so bad. Or you can suck on peppermints, I think. Check with your doctor first, though. But I did. I sucked on peppermints, and it did help. Take a couple whiffs of those and see if that helps. Another thing that you can do is if you are like me and you are dying of heat through your whole pregnancy and no amount of cold that can satisfy the heat, the immense heat that you're getting. At work with me, I always had a big old fan, or you can get a little tiny fan, and I constantly had it blowing on me. And just that air constantly moving and constantly feeling cool helped with the nausea. I found that when I got hot, I felt more nauseous. But if you feel nauseous and the heat kind of gets to you, I'd avoid going like outside to a baseball game for 6 hours. Another thing you can do if you're at work and you just feel nauseous and crappy, or at home, sorry, these are things that I did when I was at work and I had to get through the day. Take a cold washcloth. You can put it on your head. You can put it on the back of your neck. That will cool your body down. If you're a different kind of pregnant person who is cold all the time, keep warm, lots of layers, etc., etc. But you're probably in the minority because the rest of us were dying of heat. Another thing you might want to try is ginger root. It's a supplement. The root of ginger crushed up and put into a capsule. My doctor actually prescribed it to me. It didn't help me at all, and I think it made my heart race, but that could also be because I had really bad anxiety. So I didn't like the ginger, but if your doctor says it's okay, they do sell it at most pharmacies. It's just an over-the-counter. Give it a whirl if it's okay with your doctor. The last thing that I want to talk about are these they're called C-bams. You can get them at any pharmacy. It's a non-pharmaceutical way to help with your nausea. It did help me sometimes. I mean, I was popping the Zofran. I was wearing these. I was doing whatever I could to not throw up. You just put it on like such. And there's instructions in the thing too. You make sure that the center little white bulb is about 3 finger lengths down from where the palm of your hand starts. And it's just a pressure point. It's just a little plastic ball that pushes pressure constantly there. And they say it helps with nausea. I think it did sometimes too. It's just another thing that you can try among the slew of other things you might want to try if you're suffering from HG. And now we can talk about some kind of shallow things, but when you're pregnant, you can be shallow as much as you want. When you are pregnant, you should be like the queen of the castle. Am I right? I'm right. So when you're preggy and you throw up, obviously if you're like at work and you want to look put together, your eyeliner, everything starts to run down your face. So I always put in my little bag here some face powder to dab on under my eyes or around my mouth if my makeup washed off. Or I always carry it around. I know it's like, who worries about their makeup when they have HG, but some of us do. Don't judge. I always carry around my eyeliner to reapply after I threw up. Also, I recommend highly using waterproof mascara because once you barf and your eyes start watering, it is just... And finally, the last thing I want to talk about is staying hydrated. I know you want to throw up. I know the thought of drinking anything makes you just... But I got one of these little stainless steel things. I still use it to this day. By Thermos. It keeps your water cold. I love to drink ice cold water when I was pregnant. So you always want to be carrying around water And if you have HG, you'll know that you're always throwing up your nutrients. So I did Powerade, and I usually did like the sour, I think it was like sour melon or sour apple or pink lemonade. Just that sour taste helped me keep it down. And you know, it gives you just a little bit of sugar to keep going because you have so little nutrients. I mean, I lost like 30 pounds when I was pregnant. Not that I didn't have it to lose. I wasn't wasting away. I weighed over when I was pregnant. But, you know, it's bad for the baby if you're losing weight. So if you're losing weight and you have HG and your doctor doesn't know about it, you need to tell him. So carry around your water bottle. Drink it as often as you can. You should be drinking half of your weight in ounces of water per day. But if you're throwing up, ask your doctor about how much more water you should be drinking per vomit episode. So say you weigh 200 pounds. Not that I do or did. If you weigh 200 pounds, divide that by 100, you should be drinking 100 ounces. So those are just some tips and tricks I use to, in conclusion, I just want you to know that it will get better. It does get better. For me, it got better at around 33 weeks. I know, it sounds daunting, but try to get a really good support system around you, people that care about you, a coworker, a friend, a husband, a partner, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever, you know, to help get you through this pregnancy, because a lot of times that's the most important. But I'll talk more about that in my next video. Let your doctor know if you think anything is wrong. If you are trying all these methods and nothing's working, don't hesitate to call your doctor. He should be helping you. My doctor was amazing. Dr. Dickman, mwah, 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 mwah. Oh my God, I can't even thank him enough for how wonderful he was. But if you have any concerns, any questions, you are pregnant and you're carrying a life. Don't let anybody make you feel stupid or dumb for any questions or concerns that you have. You know, if you're not making urine within 8 to 12 hours, if you don't have any tears when you throw up, if you're starting to dry heave because you can't throw up, if you're so nauseous and you've been vomiting so much that you can't even, you know, get up off the chair, if your muscles start to tighten up and twitch, it means your potassium is probably low. If you have any of those symptoms, if you're extremely dizzy or if your heart is racing, call your doctor. If you're really concerned, go to the ER. I mean, I know you don't want to pay the bill, but in the end, it will be worth it. And trust me, it will get better. I'll help you get through it. I'm going to post a ton more videos because now that I'm done being pregnant and I feel like I'm in a good place to maybe give some people advice. So if you have any questions, leave it in the comment section below, and I'll try to answer your questions in future videos. Thanks for watching, and have a happy pregnancy.